All right, welcome to the Stampscapes lab. We have two pieces of holographic gold cardstock here. Okay, very dynamic, very I don't know, colorful. Okay, let's see if we can make this card in about 10 minutes. We have a pre-folded, folded myself, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 standard quarter-page card base right here. I like to do mine in black. And these are going to go together like that, okay? It should be a pretty crazy card, but I don't know, it might be pretty fun to do. All right, so we have our Lakeside Cove, large, Pines and Rocks, and I think I'm going to use this paddle border within my scene too. Okay, we have our Stays on ink. Okay, it's going to be an ink that's going to stamp, adhere, and dry on this type of non-porous surface. Then we have our Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White. We're going to be doing some white spatter painting over the top of this. All right, so this is called a reflection card, and hope you kind of join along with me, or if you like this scene, and I don't know, maybe you might be doing it on replay. How did he do that card, and you decide to do it or give it a try here, okay? I'm going to take some paint in my brush here, and I'm going to take a lot of it off, okay? You don't want it kind of dripping around. You need a lot less than, a lot of people think you need. So I just put it in that little tip of my toothbrush right here, and then I kind of, I don't know, like squeegeed out a lot of it, okay? Because you don't need a lot. We're just doing some very fine spray pattern over this. I'm going to try to go for this kind of diagonal spray pattern to give it a little bit of a kind of a Milky Way type of look, like this. And I just kind of release a few hairs like that, and then I kind of go back and recaulk and add a few more like that, okay? You get a little bit of a different spray pattern every time, but see that right there? Kind of looks like stars. I'm missing some up here, so I'm going to hit that right up there a little bit too. All right, so we got this kind of like little, I don't know, textured pattern up there. You can just add a few gel pen dots or acrylic paint pen dots too if you don't have, some of this type of paint right here. This paint's very inexpensive. Buy it. It'll last you a decade probably if you use it in the manner that I do, which is very little, Even when I'm using it a lot on a lot of different scenes, we use very little of it. Okay, now we're going to take our Lakeside Cove large. Looks like I used some white on that last time for an impression, so hopefully that doesn't interfere. I don't need to ink up the whole thing because I'm going to use it from basically midway and up. You can go a little bit higher or lower, it's not going to matter. You don't have to get it exactly the way that I do. If I do it again on another card, chances are I'm going to be a little bit off too. Now you're going to be using probably a cling foam version of this stamp or a unmatted stamp. So just kind of get your bearings, the midway point, the areas right here. And I'm going to just basically go from here up, okay? And I'm going to be doing that right on the edge of this. So this is like right here. It's kind of matching up right there, okay? Like I said, if you go a little bit higher, a little bit lower, it's not going to matter. Okay, so I'll go like this right here. I'm kind of going right in the middle. Large stamps, you might want to stand up to get a little bit of leverage going, like about like so. All right, this stays on ink, it dries really fast. And we'll pull off like that, and we get our impression like that. I missed a little bit right there. I think it was a little bit of a ink resist. Don't worry about that. And I've inked up this part right here because I need to get this over on the edge. I'm going to overlap a pretty good amount, like a 1/4 inch, just because I missed that little area in there. No, on the stays on ink too. It's like, let's say if you stamped it out and you smeared it or something like that as you were making the impression. Don't worry about it. Just kind of take a cotton ball with some alcohol or your stays on ink cleaner if you have that. Chances are you might have that if you're a stays on user. And just wipe that off of your surface and just do it again. Okay? All right, so you see that? We got this lake kind of going here and right off the page like that. And right here, I'm going to use this. I'm going to overlap a pretty good amount, like 1/4 inch or so, or, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. And then you go like that, and you get this whole lakeside from edge to edge like that. Do you see that little hole right there where I missed? I'm just going to take these trees right here and stamp right in there like that. Let's see, I'm looking for a paper towel here on my desk. I'm going to go like this, so just so I don't stamp it out over this whole thing. I'm going to take these trees right here and just go right in here. I'm going to get a little impression right in those trees. I see I missed right there, I think. There we go. Go like that. All right, so I kind of filled in there a little bit. All right, but I'll show you what this is looking like. This is a very non-fussy kind of stamping right here because of the dynamics of it. It's just, it's going to look really cool, I think, just with the thing. Now you don't have to go with the holographics right here. It's just like any types of foils, but look at that reflection of that lakeside in that water like that. It looks like I don't know if they were vertical, like look like Northern Lights or something like that. Okay. But look at those striations across the base. I usually do this just on a plain gold foil instead of a holographic over holographic. So usually holographic over plain gold down here, or just reflective foils. But we're going to try it a little bit differently this time. I was kind of playing around with the holographic in that lower portion on one of my recent videos, and I thought, I never thought about doing that, but let's try it out. I just kind of held it up to the other holographic that I had stamped out on that previous card, and I thought, that could work. So we're testing it out here. I'm going to go with my lakes, pines and rocks here. I'm stamping it pretty high. This is going to be representative of foreground trees, okay? So these foreground trees are going to add our depth into the scene. It's going to be a pretty busy card, okay? That's, definitely the case with holographics, and especially holographic over holographic. This part right here could even be the top scene like that. I'll show you what this might look like over regular foil like that. See that? It's like trees, reflecting in the water like that. So this is just a plane of plain gold like this. Now let's take a look at what this one looks like, the holographic, over this just plain foil down below, like that. It's a little bit more mellow like that, but yeah, it definitely works. So there's, like I said, there's all kinds of different variations here. I'm going to put another impression right down here with the stays on. Let's go down about like so. I'm trying to bring this over a little bit more. So I've gone lower with this one. You can see how this tree is the same one up there. So you can overlap and repeat your imagery and really make use of your Stampscape stamps like that with repeated impressions within the same area, okay? Now let me see if this little figure right here might stand up against that really wild, very loud background. Dynamic for sure. Look at that right there. Isn't that insane? Now watch this when I open this card up. Look at that movement in there in terms of the lighting in there. Because this is reflecting down here, and this is reflecting back up there. So look at that wild look right there. I think I am going to stamp out. It'd be kind of cool to have a little bit of a figure down here. I don't know if we're going to be able to see them that well, but, as you kind of move the card around, you'll be able to see a little bit of this ends up being kind of a little bit of a visual focal point in terms of anytime you add kind of people or like life into a scene, the viewer's eye is going to go, right to them. I'll go a little bit higher. I'll go like right up here. So it's someone going out and enjoying, this nature's light show, we might say. Like that. See that little figure like that? And they're in their, I don't know, favorite vacation spot, the magical lake or magic moment on the lake, like that. Okay. It is pretty crazy. This one's not necessarily, we're not necessarily going for realism in here. Do you see those stars up there like that, though? It really gives the piece a lot of depth because those stars look like they're in back of those light beams now, don't they? Like that. I don't know, maybe some of them look like they're kind of in front of it, but the smaller ones look like they're way in the distance. So you've given it a lot of depth like that. But look at this, it's pretty crazy. It really reflects different with this holographic down here. Okay, now that paint up there and ink should be pretty dry, so I'm going to, I tell you what, I'm going to stamp my word stamp right in here. Some people ask you, well, what do you put on the outside then if you're doing kind of the card or the visuals on the inside? Okay. And I just do the like quote stamps or something like that. You can say happy birthday right here or on the back of it and say, to whatever love, whatever, whoever you're doing it for. Wish you were here. You can do your writing on the back here. It doesn't have to be a black cardstock, but I think it makes for a pretty dramatic, card base, okay? Now, the interior is really gold looking, okay? So, okay, I gotta tell you what, I just changed my mind here. I think it's going to be better if I adhere these pieces into my card base first, because this ink right here, the gold ink that I'm going to use on here, that's going to take a little bit of time to dry. So if I'm, taping down like this, I don't want to be pressing on my slightly damp word stamp at this point in time. So let's just, now this is a really, pretty thick cardstock. So sometimes I'm using my spray adhesive to adhere my components down within the piece, but this is really stiff right here. You take this and you fold like this, so then you just go right up, take that and butt that right up against that line like that. And try to get it as centered as you can. Sometimes I'm off a little bit, like right there I have a little bit of that paper showing, so I'm probably hanging over here by, I don't know, 32nd of an inch. But what I do is when I'm done with this, and this is hanging off right there, so I just trim this right here after I get my card complete. That way everything's nice and flush. We'll take this piece right here. Just make sure that you're kind of adhering the, the piece right side up. Don't put the bottom one on the bottom component on the top one. Make sure you got all these things right side up if you haven't done this before. We have this one right here. Now I'm taking this and I'm folding it like this, so I can just take this and I butt it up right against there. Try to get it as flush as you can. Like that, and you fold down, and you have your really kind of, in this case, really wild reflection card like that. Look at that. It's like a magical moment on the lake for that paddle border like that. And look at this. When someone opens this card, what card is going to do that, for people, when they're opening it up and getting this kind of light show like that, So it makes for a really, and this is like, it looks really three-dimensional like that. And this is like easy stamping right here. There's, 3 impressions up there of one stamp, another 3 impressions down here with one stamp, and you get this little figure in here. You can put a kayaker in here or a canoeist or something like that. You don't have to do any coloring because it's all taken care of with the, the holographic cardstock. No spray sealing either, because the StazOn doesn't need to be spray sealed. It's adhered and it's already dry. Now this is a pigment ink, metallic pigment ink here. This will take a little bit of time to dry, but you don't need to spray seal it either. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp this about right. Sorry about my head here, getting in the way. I'm going to try to go for a pretty decent impression of this, If it doesn't, sometimes a light metallic doesn't show very well on black. If it doesn't, then you just stamp it on a separate piece of paper and just tape it down like that. You know, you can give it a little bit of framing, or it would be kind of cool if you gave a little bit of a, stamp it on black or something, or in white, and you give a little bit of a border of gold, and then you stick it down there like that. So that would be a little bit of a kind of a visual lead in, you know, having a metallic like that. But in all things of nature, there's something of the marvelous. Okay, now you see these edges right here. Just trim that off like that. That doesn't look good. And someone opens up like this. And there's your card like that. Isn't that really dynamic? It's super fun, super easy. We're at the 15-minute mark or so. So not too long. And that was like taking this card from, you know, completion. I had the, you know, the paper already cut out in the cardstock. I mean, the card base already cut out and pre-folded. So, you know, but that doesn't take too long. It takes like an extra minute or something like that. But in order to do something like this, that's really pretty fun. I'd highly recommend giving this a try. And hope you decide to do this as a little stamp along. It's really fun stuff. And see, look at that little character like that. Doesn't it look like they're really kind of dimensional on there? One thing I was kind of hoping for is I was hoping for some of those stars to be kind of reflecting on here like that, but there's probably just too much light and refraction going on with this holographic. I can't really see too much of it down there, but it is pretty cool. There's other types of things. If I wanted to put like a moon on here, this is a glow-in-the-dark moon. That would be kind of interesting. You can see that. I don't know. I don't know if you can see that moon. Let's see. I can't get that to stick there, but if that was right there, it might even be reflecting down in that water. Yeah, a little bit. You know, you put it right here. See that right around that figure? And then when it's glowing in the dark, you can go in the dark, and then you see that moon wiggling right behind that our paddle border. In the dark, you would get that moon glowing down there in the water like that. And you would be able to see that figure kind of like in a little glow-in-the-dark spotlight like that. So those are little types of little things you can do, those little kind of tweaks. So just really fun stuff like that. Okay, so anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you like this video, hope you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out the Stampscapes site for more information on the Stampscapes line. And thanks for watching.